I can have your attention here in the Media Center. We are joined now by Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, a 10-time winner here at Dover International Speedway. And Jimmie, going into this weekend, the Chase cutoff race for this round, what are your thoughts and how going into the weekend and your confidence level going into this race?
Yeah, I clearly love coming to this racetrack and excited to be back for a Chase race. I wish all 10 events in the Chase could be here at this racetrack. I think it'd be a good thing for the 48. But excited to be here. Certainly hoping the rain gets out of here just like everyone else. And then there's obviously that hurricane that's making its way north. So my main focus right now really hadn't been on the race. It's like, when are we going to get on track? When will I be able to feel the setup of my race car and understand where we're at? So I'm anxiously awaiting track time just like everybody else.
Good deal. We'll open the floor up for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand and state your name and affiliation. We'll start in the back with Jonathan.
Jonathan Merriman, NASCAR.com. Jimmie, you talked a little bit about confidence there. And with the rain here, are you able to kind of relax on a weekend like this because you're in Chad's notebook at this track is full of what we would assume is better notes than everybody else because of your success here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if we weren't on the track a lot. I mean, we do know the track very well. We've had success here, year after year. We won in the spring, but it's been a long time since we've raced here at the track. There are new things that develop on the car through the course of the year, and we'd really like to get out on the track and at least get an hour to feel things out and understand where the balance of the car is. But if there is a track where limited track time would help us, I guess it would be here.
We'll go next to Lee and then to Jessica.
SpencerMotorsport.com. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you reflect on your 500 start or whenever you make that, whether it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? But can you just – it's been such an incredible ride for you. I mean, there was a time there for a while that, like, I think you were winning every fifth race. I mean, it was like it just – and I mean, I'm not inferring that you're done or anything, but,
Sure.
You've just had such a remarkable ride. Can you – kind of reflect on that and how this has changed your life so dramatically?
Without a doubt, the opportunity to drive for Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick in Lowe's changed my life. I can't help but think back to 2000 when I'm not sure if I'm going to have a Busch Series ride at the time. Seek out Jeff Gordon at the Michigan drivers meeting. He was running the Busch race that day and was just looking for some advice. And he gave me advice, and then he also left an opening where he let me know that Hendrick Motorsports was looking to start a fourth team, and I was the guy they were considering. So from that moment on, my head spun around on my shoulders, and I'm like, what, really? And honestly, from that moment in 2000, then my opportunity to race and winning in my 13th start, the opportunity to win more races, win championships, more championships to where I am today, my head's still spinning. I mean, it's been a life-changing experience, one that I'm extremely grateful for, and an experience that I think really shows what the power of people can do. And in the situation that was created between Lowe's and Hendrick Motorsports and starting the team, Chad Knaus and myself being put together, the guys that have put their heart and soul into this team and started it and created it, the people made the success of the 48, all of us together, the team. And to be on that team is just, it's something that I dreamed of, but I still couldn't have dreamed this big and have this much take place for us.
Races for accolades. So can you just kind of put in perspective, I mean, you haven't had a bad year. You haven't had if the racing gods have smiled on anybody in the last decade, it's really been you. I mean, it's kind of goofy, but I mean, did you ever think that everything could just, even once you were in the deal, did you expect everything just to go this strong, this well throughout the course of your career?
No, I didn't expect things to go as well as they have, and absolutely the racing gods have smiled on myself and this team. I mean, our worst year in points has been 11th, and believe me, it wasn't a good year for myself and the team and Chad. Like we didn't operate even close to our potential. So On paper, it doesn't look like a bad year. We certainly felt like it was a terrible year, but the gosh, I lost the point I was trying to make. Maybe it'll come back. Dang it! Sorry. Yeah, I don't see where that's not been given. I mean, I've been given tons of accolades, tons of respect for the championships I've won, races I've won. Within sports, there's certainly fans, and then there's the people that aren't, and my style and who I am and the success I've had has certainly created an opposing force, and that's all part of it. But I definitely feel like I've received the credit I deserve. The team has, and it's something that you earn as well. And I think the success we had in the races we won, the championships we won, earned that respect. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to Jessica, and then the Steve, and then the Kenny.
Jessica Ruffin, NASCAR.com. You've been so dominant at Dover in the past few years with 10 wins. What kind of strategy do you and Chad have, having a solid position in the chase so far? Do you guys want to play it safe so you'll get into the next round, or are you looking more to go for the win, take some chances?
I really feel like it's just the tough line that any race team walks, and winning is so difficult, but yet so important. We don't have to win to advance, so I will be wrestling that in my mind. Chad will with his pit calls, but you can't not try to win races. So we are here to win the race, and I guess the best example of that would be that comes to mind to me would be my race with Matt Kenseth at Texas, the fall race in 2007, 2008. I had a better car, was wanting to win the race and get by Matt. I didn't need to from the points perspective, but I mean, we're there to win, and I knew that I could win the race, so I took some chances to pull that off. So it's really risk management, and sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. So, but we don't have to win to move on, so we'll keep reminding ourselves of that.
Okay, we'll go to Steve, the Kenny, and then the Jim Utter.
Yeah, Steve Richards with PRN. Jimmie, could you talk about Tony's announcement, what you think of it? Were you a little bit surprised that he made the announcement when he did?
No, I mean, I know Tony well and spent a lot of time with him over the years, and kind of sensed something was going to change, something was coming, and I'm really happy for him. I think the thought that he has put into this, the way he's going about it, I'm excited for him because he's excited about what's next. And it's very similar with Jeff. I mean, it's so hard to watch somebody you've looked up to and idolized step down or decide that it's time to do something different. But personally, I look at them and I listen to them, and their excitement makes me excited for them. So at least we get another year with him next year, and I certainly hope he gets the wins that he's looking for and leaves with a huge smile on his face.
And the way that you see these guys retiring or about to retire, does that kind of influence your thinking about when it's time for you?
Yeah, and I think that myself, for myself personally, there's a moment when it feels like work. There's a moment when you don't want to get up and go to the track for whatever the reason is. That's what every driver, or any athlete, I guess I should say, is trying to be aware of and step down at the right point in time. We're very fortunate as race car drivers that our career can go much further. But I have to say that the Mark Martin racing into your 50s era is probably gone. The schedule, the demands, everything that goes on, I would say mid-40s is probably going to be that point for a lot of guys, and we got a lot of guys getting close to that age now.
Go next to Kenny Bruce, up to Jim Utter, and then we'll finish with Dustin Long.
Kenny Bruce from NASCAR.com. Jimmie, along those lines, I think we kind of got the impression that Jeff had a pretty good idea when he was going to step aside. I think Tony was in the same boat, that he knew at a certain point, regardless of whether he runs good or bad, after he reaches a certain point, he was going to step aside. We've heard people talk about, okay, the drivers are, they have families now. They want to be able to spend time with them and not be gone all the time. Specifically, do you have an idea of when you're gonna be ready to hang it up and do something else?
No, I don't have a number. I've not picked a number As a kid growing up racing, or as I got into the sport, I didn't say at this age I'm going to step down. I haven't had that conversation. I mean, I haven't picked a number with my wife and said that, okay, honey, this is the point in which I'm going to stop. It's really been based on feel, and I have Shani's support on that as well. That when I feel like it's time, then I'm going to make that decision, and I certainly don't feel like it's time now. And I remember watching Rusty pick a number, and then talking to Rusty years following that. And I still think he's mad he stopped. And I still think he feels like he could be out here racing with us and winning races. So conversations with him, with Dale Jarrett, with other guys that have stepped. I've always been curious, why, when, what tells you to stop? Mark tried half dozen times to retire and couldn't walk away. So I want to make sure I do it once and not keep coming back, not keep going through it. And, I guess what I'm looking for is that moment like, all right, now it's time. And when that shows up, then I'll step down.
Jim?
JimMutterMotorsport.com. I was going to ask a similar question, but I'm not going to ask it 3 times because I don't want you to think we're trying to push you out the door.
Yeah, this 2-year contract's definitely stirred things up.
The restarts, they changed double the length of the restart zones pretty much for most of the tracks going forward. As a driver, is that advantageous to you if you're the race leader now? Is it easier to get a better restart? And do you think the wider, lengthier restart zone gives NASCAR a better opportunity or an amount of time to judge on whether someone's jumping the restart?
Yeah, I think it's yes to all of them. I think that the restart boxes were on the shorter side to, in some respects, to kind of keep it easy and just give a given point to go and not allow a lot of gamesmanship to take place in a larger restart zone. So the evolution of it, the way I see it, we've had that. I think we've all been a little scared to go deep into the restart box as the leader because the flagman doesn't necessarily have the best point of view, and it's going to throw the green at some point in time. And as the leader, you want your opportunity to control the race and try to have the lead in the first turn. So there weren't calls. People started going earlier and earlier. Then, you've got cars leaving 6-8 car lengths before the restart line, and it's forced NASCAR to really start making some calls. Now, as we're making the calls, in my opinion, the leader of the race really has been kind of put in a disadvantage with such a small restart area. It's very easy as a second-place car to time the roll to get up and accelerate with the leader when it's such a small area because within – I don't even know how long we're in the restart box, but it's a second, 2 seconds. I mean, it's pretty easy to time that and be there and get an advantage on the leader of the race. So to lengthen that box, I think, is a great move. I'm hopeful that they lengthen the box and bring it closer to the start-finish line. I think it'll slow down some of the 3 and 4 wide into turn 1 scenarios that we have. Less distance to get speed built up. Closer to the start-finish line, I think will just maybe control that space a little bit better and really have good, solid side-by-side restarts, which everybody is after. And then, obviously, the goal here is to give the control back to the guy that's earned it, to the leader. And hopefully that's what happens. I'm in favor of it. I think it's a good call and excited to see how it plays out.
Last question, Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Jimmy, there's at least a couple of drivers that are in like a must-win situation this weekend. I think you were probably in that type of situation at Talladega last year, if my memory serves me correct. For as difficult as it is to win these races, we've seen some guys saw a couple guys last year win in must-win situations. So what is that situation like? How does that happen? If it's so difficult to win any one of these races, yet there were a couple of instances last year in this chase where guys were in must situations and won it. So what is that like? How difficult? What might these guys be facing this weekend?
Yeah, it is really difficult when you have to win to move on. You just hope that you're at a track that's one of your best racetracks. I think that helps stack the deck in your favor to a certain regard. When I had to go to Talladega and win to move on, that's such a crapshoot. It was really hard to be too emotional or too confident in what our chances were. And we had an awesome day, led a ton of the race, and unfortunately last restart at the end didn't make the right decision and didn't advance. So, I think it is somewhat track dependent. And if you can land on a track that's one of your better tracks, if not your best track, I think it only increases the odds. And again, it's not easy to do, as you pointed out. But I think the chase and racing for a championship brings the best out of a driver and out of a team, and we just saw championship moments last year.
Well, Jimmie, we really appreciate you coming in this morning, and congratulations in advance of your 500th start.